But really that's just a label, it's just a title. So moreover, we believe that the world changed forever for many, many Australian business-to-business sales organisations at the time of the GFC. And we passionately believe, as a result of that, that those B2B sales companies that annually undertake their sales team optimisation as an integral part of their whole of company budgeting will actually rise above the pressures that we're all under to justify our cost and headcount of the expensive on-the-road sales team to actually become the beacons and light the way to show us what it means to transition from B2B to B4B, where the customers of the sales organisation that is truly B4B values the role of the visiting sales execs as much as the products and services that they are buying from that company. And so therefore, our little part in this evolution of what's happening in the Australian landscape for business-to-business sales organisations is simply to help organisations make that transition. So we specialise in deploying our sales system to any B2B sales organisation to help them model, map, design and plan and measure maximum sales team productivity and return. And we work collaboratively, transferring our tools, skills and knowledge to our clients. So the next level is not only the name of our company, but it's also the name of this sales system. And it's a sales team optimisation and sales exec effectiveness system which can be applied to just about any B2B sales scenario. And it can be thought of as an end-to-end suite of modelers, designers and mappers, and it's all around optimising the sales process, system and the team's performance. So sales team optimisation, fancy term, what actually is that? What does it mean? By our counts, the numbers are a little bit hard to run. By our counts, we reckon there's around about 40,000 organisations in Australia that lend themselves to sales team optimisation. Now, if you take a superficial look at those sorts of organisations, they're quite disparate. Manufacturers, distributors, service providers, even some semi and quasi-government agencies. The thing that we've, as we study such organisations, notice that the common link between these sorts of organisations. They will typically have at least a handful of your classic on-the-road sales warriors, who are in turn plying a large and heterogeneous collection of customers and prospects with repeat visits that align to those customers' needs to make repeat reorders of consumable goods and services. And finally, where those end customers have a readily switchable supplier choice. So they are the common threads that underpin these disparate looking 40,000 odd B2B sales organisations. The other thing that's common, they're all sub-optimised. And our data shows that the only thing that varies is the degree to which they're sub-optimised. So by definition then, having set that background, sales team optimisation is the analytics that align the sales team design and process with the classification of the customer base and the profiling of the prospect pool in order to drive maximum productivity and return on the investment of the sales team. So it truly is the science of engineering the sales team to a tailored system, which is again all around mobilising the resource for best utilisation and maximum realisation. So again, techno terms, let's break that down. Sales team optimisation is a system whereby everyone in the company can be confident that the sales execs day in, day out are visiting the right person at the right time, for the right frequency, with the right reason, delivering the right value within the framework of the right business partnership. And it solves the problem of failure to deliver maximum revenue and margin from underproductivity due to the lack of a sales system. So, as Pete mentioned, we've been coming back here every 3 or 4 months now for the last year and a half, and we do run these topics in a kind of an end-to-end sequence to map out the journey of sales team optimisation. And just by way of allowing me to set the scene for today's topic, I'm going to do a very, very quick skate over the top of some of the key points that have come in the topics beforehand, which will allow me to paint a picture as we go into today's topic. And we started a year and a half ago looking at the sales team optimisation journey, commencing with putting a peg in the sand and assessing your current level of productivity and return. And we looked at the importance of what we call the sales team version of the law of gravity. It's inalienable. It exists. The only choice you have is whether to honour it and work it or ignore it. And it's a simple equation at the top level. Resource level times visit capacity, like a pseudo accounting equation on the left-hand side, has to equal customer coverage and prospect penetration on the right-hand side. And then sitting below that are the activity, productivity and economic levers in which a sales team, sales organisation can pull and push in order to balance out and get the right equation operating in terms of where you're trying to drive your sales team productivity and return. So we looked at a couple of those levers. We looked at visit and drive time ratio as an example of a productivity lever within that equation. We looked at a particular case studies, looking at visit time, drive time, and how their ratio compares on the cross-industry standards, and how that can help an organisation set its improvement target. We did a similar thing with one of the economic drivers, cost of visit, again looking at a case study example, how it compares on the cross-industry standards. And then we also looked at the importance of running the exercise from a strategic perspective. What to set, what to optimise, what to maximise, because you can't maximise everything. And then finishing off the assessing of the productivity and return with the calculation of the return on the investment. So from the first topic, we then moved into the second topic, where we looked at then renewing the sales strategy of the organisation. And we used the value chain structure model to flush out for each end user, end product for the company in question, the articulation and definition of the players in the channel, those who are buyers, those who are non-buyers, specifiers, influencers, what value each player adds to the product service coming down the value chain, and therefore where we place our best bets in terms of deploying our expensive sales resource to exercise influence over their role in the value chain. And we looked at some of the sophisticated models to help organisations run that kind of model. Then we came back another 3 or 4 months later and looked at the sort of data you need to generate and gather to run your sales team optimisation. And we spoke about the 6 primary tranches of data, starting off with CV, current value, which is really the notion of extracting the data from you to then run top to bottom from your biggest Goliath all the way down to all your rats and mice, that current value, the revenue and margin contribution they make to your business by virtue of the sales of the products and services they buy, and how that compares to the classic 80-20, 10-10, 10-70, to show the spread of your business, the vulnerability of your business, and to become an integral part of the data going into your sales team optimisation. We spoke about that notion, that shape of curve notion, also applying to PV, potential value. So that's the untapped share of the given customer's volume and consumption in the category in which you compete that you're not getting, your competition's getting it. And then the other 6 tranches, cost of sale, cost to serve, some basic sales team productivity and return data, some basic external market share landscape data, and the so-called sales exec activity time allocation. And we looked at how that type of exercise of getting your sales execs to actually document in a controlled fashion what they're doing, why they're doing it, where they're spending their time, and how it can drill down from simple office versus territory, break the territory time into what sort of visits, break the office time into solo versus mean time, break down, and you can drill down far enough till you can can really get to things like your visit drive time ratios. And then the last session, we started looking at upgrading the selling systems, the quantitative part, and we looked at the principles that underpin classifying the customers with robustness and mathematical defensibility for competitive advantage. And we looked at how a classification scatter plot might look when all those 6 tranches come together to actually set up a system to in a very sophisticated way, classify your customers for in-field targeting and specific account management programs. And then how that in itself comes back and feeds the sales team optimisation equation by pumping in then the number of customers by class, setting up your as-is, plugging in your actual current as-is values for every one of the 8 productivity economic drivers, and then playing around with different what-if scenarios to come up with your to-be perfect balanced equation. So that then segues me into today, which is the counterpart part of the upgrade selling system. So last time it was all about the numbers, the quantitative. Today I want to flip over to the qualitative part of upgrading your selling system. Because it's all well and good to use the maths, to use the science, to classify the customers for competitive advantage, and thereby work out how many stars, how many cultivates, and how many times you're going to visit them per year as part of your account management.